Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hard Count. I am your host, Ricky. Alongside me is Ben and JP, and we are going to be talking about the playoffs. It is week 18 in the NFL, the last week of the regular season, and the playoff picture is clearing up now. We are basically doing this on Sunday, so two games have already been decided as the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Baltimore Ravens Saturday, and Houston was able to punch their ticket in with a win over the Indianapolis Colts.
Cha-ching.
So, yes, it has there's some seeding that is still up for grabs as the Houston Texans
So,
can get the AFC
so
South
Ricky,
title. Yes, sir.
as I rub the crystal ball, go ahead and predict who you think is going to make it in.
So honestly, I say that the only change right now with everybody that is in, because currently Buffalo they have the sixth seed, and
They play Miami, and Miami's resting most of their
Yeah.
players, aren't they?
well, Miami, I honestly say for the smart money, Miami should sit their players. They should sit, because right now they're limping into week 18.
Oh
The
yeah,
smart,
they're a
the
big
Yeah.
smart
injury.
thing to do would be Miami to sit their players, let Buffalo win, and then they go on to Kansas City, which, in my opinion, is a more favorable matchup than, well, as it sits right now, the Houston Texans.
And I would rather play Kansas City. Yeah, definitely, because the Texans are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Stroud is healthy, the Texans are healthy. That's pretty much the playoff scenario there.
Interception, Bengals.
All right, and
Interception Bengals.
okay, so basically, Ben is watching the Browns and the Bengals game while we are talking about the playoffs. Um, Now, yes, that means to me the Pittsburgh Steelers are out. But the way I'm actually seeing it, um, rubbing my crystal ball, that Buffalo basically doesn't play for anything. My play is that that Tennessee is going to lose or is going to beat Jacksonville, and Jacksonville is going to be out. So
Yeah,
basically, I would
I
have that
really
would
think
make the Pittsburgh Steelers the 7th seed. That would make the Texans the 4th seed. The Bills, can be either the 2 or the
oh,
6. So,
I'm watching the Jets and the Patriots game now. It's snowing its butt off.
okay. So, but yes.
You think the Bills are making it or no?
I mean, I would love the Bills to make it, you know,
I would too.
but and then also
I kind of want to put money on the
if
game
you
now.
really also look at it, all right, um the Steelers losing what? Okay. Steelers aren't going to make it. All right.
Yeah, without Watt,
Because,
he's like his brother, man. He controls the defense. He directs it where it
no,
goes,
it's
and
not
without
even
Watt,
that. All right. Without Watt, there's no star on the Steelers. All
it's like
right.
Palomalu
And,
back in the day.
if you look at everything up for grabs, all right. And honestly, if you look at everything, with, you don't even have to go with a tinfoil cap on. It's, you look at markets, you look at, look at everything from a business perspective. All right. Houston was going to be in the playoffs. All right, because CJ Stroud right now, his momentum, his star is going up like a rocket. All right. Cleveland Browns have Joe Flacco with his resurgence. The Miami Dolphins, Tua, Tyreek, that firepower offense. Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson. Kansas City Chiefs have Taylor Swift and Patrick Mahomes. Like,
Yeah.
like who are you going to really like look at of the teams that are like on the outside looking in? The Jacksonville Jaguars. You want CJ Beathard to be in the playoffs with you? No.
You definitely want Taylor Swift on the sidelines because when she's on the sidelines, the Chiefs have a winning record.
Well,
I don't
yeah,
think
but
she's ever been on the sidelines, has she?
no, she's been in the
Well, I'm
box.
talking
Okay,
about
Yeah,
no, she's
the
never been
box.
on the sidelines. I mean, God, like they're coordinate. If she's ever been on a Chiefs sideline, she's had more than most offensive coordinators, most defensive coordinators, this season. But basically, I see the Bills beating Miami. I see the Titans beating the Jaguars. So like for me, it's gonna be Baltimore, Buffalo. So it'd actually be Buffalo versus Pittsburgh, because the Steelers are the 7th seed, um, with Jacksonville losing. Then you would have the Texans at 4, which they would play the Browns. Um, the Chiefs would play the Dolphins, and that would be the AFC to me. Do you guys agree? Or do you see Buffalo sitting out? Basically right now there is, just a little bit of shuffling in the AFC picture, mainly based on Jacksonville. Because if Jacksonville loses, then hey, then Texans are the 4. Buffalo can even be the 6 and go and play in Arrowhead, which, not gonna lie, would be a wet dream for the beat reporters talking
right
about the
now.
NFL.
Right now, they're going for a 3-point try, 44-yard attempt for Jacksonville,
Okay.
and it
Okay.
is good.
Okay, but yes. So, I mean, yeah, look at like way things look at. Basically, I am on the Athletic right now. And the way they have it right now is with Jacksonville losing. And the matchups would be the Browns going to Houston, which that would be a great matchup. I mean, not gonna lie, there's no bad matchup in the playoffs next week. Bills versus Kansas City. You definitely know that with the Bills returning to Kansas City, everybody be talking about, yeah, the last time the Bills and the Chiefs played in Arrowhead in the
That'll be a good
playoffs,
game.
it all boiled down to 13 seconds.
Yeah, it all depends on which teams are showing up.
Yep.
Showing up and showing out.
Because to be honest with you, the Bills and the Chiefs haven't looked like their old selves.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, the Bills really offensively haven't been on all cylinders. But they also haven't had to be on all cylinders. In their 4-game win streak, it's a more balanced offense.
It's been more controlled.
Yeah.
Keeping Josh Allen under control is what more or less it's been.
I feel like Kansas City slide started when they lost to Buffalo, so I'm hoping for that.
Well, the
matchup.
Chiefs this year has just been kind of mid.
There's
Like
a lot of
they're
distractions too.
yeah, pretty much. It's like their 2 biggest stars are doing more off the field than on the field. In
Yeah,
terms
you
of
got Patrick
production.
Mahomes, you got Kelsey in commercials, you got Patrick Mahomes' wife in the news causing issues, his brother in the news. Like, there's a lot of off the field issues that could be causing a lot of issues in the locker room and on the field.
Yeah. If I was Andy Reid, I would not be happy. I know from what I heard, they're sitting Mahomes this week, getting ready for next week.
Well, I mean, honestly, like with how that offense is going right now in Kansas City, I would sit Mahomes too. Because I don't want him beat up for anything.
Yeah.
I mean, last year, yeah, didn't it didn't really hinder them as they beat the Eagles with a high ankle sprain, but still, you look at everything and like I would not want as Patrick Mahomes, I would not want to go out on the field this week when I have nothing really to play for to get my body beat up. Doesn't matter to me.
And prediction wise, in the offseason, I see Tony. If this isn't his last year on the contract, I see him getting traded or released.
I see him more getting released depending on what his contract is.
Yeah, it seems
Like
to be that he's
honestly,
called. Yeah,
Tony should have had a
he's
bunch of practices with the jugs machine.
he's caused a lot of on the field issues, and you can tell like Mahomes is very frustrated.
Yep. But I mean, that's also, in my opinion, the difference between him and Aaron Rodgers. The difference between him and a really good quarterback. Where
I
like,
mean, look at Philadelphia. Same thing's going on.
well, Philadelphia, that's leadership. All right. Which is very weird considering how many veterans are in Philly. All
Yeah,
right. Philly is a team of stars
you got
that
me
are right
in.
now in the wrong galaxy.
And I have a bold.
What you got?
If the Eagles do not make it past at least the first round or the second round, whatever round they make it into, I think the coach is done for the Eagles.
No, I don't see Sirianni getting fired.
I don't see that either. And the reason I don't see it is, you know, I tell me what you guys think of this. Do you foresee Clavis's brother, Jason, retiring at the end of the year? Because he said in a documentary that he wants a Super Bowl win before he retires. So
I honestly don't think Kelsey's happy with how everything's playing out right now.
Oh no, yeah, it definitely looks like he's not.
You can tell when he's on the sidelines, he's not happy.
yeah, I mean, I'm talking about Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. When I've been watching some of the Eagles games, they go over and show Jason Kelsey, and he is not too happy.
Yeah, well, basically, that is an issue for another time. But basically, as everything sits right now, in the NFC playoff, because it seems like we definitely have a good picture, like on the AFC.
Let me
Yeah.
say one thing. TJ Watt has looked like it was a 2-sack lead over Henderson currently playing in the Bengals over set for sacks currently.
Okay, all right. I mean, like, not gonna lie, it just didn't seem like anybody really like established a star dominance. Like where it was like Reggie White and Bruce Smith. Like everybody was like, yeah, this guy. It's sacks have been a
Well,
quiet stat.
Even
recently.
the Bosa's have been very quiet this year. They haven't been talked about a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get you off topic.
Hey,
They show the stat on the screen.
Hey, no problem. Just keep focused, man. We definitely don't want to Philadelphia Eagles ourselves.
Burgers?
Burgers.
All right. So
Burgers.
the NFC current playoff bracket. shows the 49ers definitely clinched the 1 seed, obviously.
Yes.
And the current matchups, if everything is to stand pat, basically, if the games all got canceled, everybody in the playoffs right now won their respective games. It would show the Buccaneers hosting the Eagles, the Lions would be hosting the Rams, and the Cowboys would be hosting the Packers. Now there are things that definitely could change. Basically, if the Buccaneers pretty much control their destiny with a win.
Yes, they do.
But if they lose to Carolina, which is obviously something that is unforeseeable, because the Panthers kind of suck. But if Atlanta wins, then Atlanta would be hosting the Eagles, or the Saints would be hosting the Eagles.
Touchdown.
All right. So
Tennessee.
basically Dallas, if they win or
So
the
here's the
Eagles
issue with
lose.
Dallas. Here's the issue with the Dallas game. They're on the road and they're horrible on the road. And I was listening to
But
Sports
they're
Talk
also
this
playing
morning.
against the Commanders, who are just horrible at home or on the road.
Yeah, but it's also a division rivalry. And it's the last game that Ron Rivera is ever going to coach for Washington.
Coach at
And
all. This is going to be the end of Ron Rivera.
Oh, I mean, it's the end of Ron Rivera altogether, and they're going to be playing for him probably. And Cowboys are probably going to be resting most of their players.
Doubt it.
I think the Cowboys are going to lose.
So if the Cowboys lose, then they'll go to New England, or not New England, to Tampa Bay.
And the Eagles aren't favored by much against the Giants.
Well, that's because Tyrod Taylor. Basically, the Cowboys win, they get the NFC East title. If the Eagles win, the Eagles and the Cowboys lose, then the Eagles will be the NFC East division championship holder. The Green Bay Packers, they have to beat the Bears, or a lot of different things happen. Basically, the Vikings, they can squeak in if they win, and the Packers, Seahawks.
That is surprising.
It's just weird. For Minnesota, they get in if the Bears win, if whoever's playing Seattle, I think is the Cardinals win, and the Falcons. Falcons win, or it's just so much going on with that.
Lions are winning.
It's so
right.
At this time of year, there's so much going on with the playoff stage.
But basically, I'm just bringing it up to you guys because you guys weren't here on Tuesday, to kind of talk about it. That's what this hard count's
Sam
for.
Laporta just made history for tight ends for a rookie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right.
I really think, let's talk about the Vikings getting in. I think it's about 50-50 shot.
I don't see Minnesota making it. Honestly, with so much going on. And I mean, and it's even
their quarterback, their quarterback woes is just
Dobbs getting traded to him definitely worked for 2 weeks, and then it's Cinderella. The clock struck midnight there, and Dobbs turned into a pumpkin. Seattle, they're right now woey. So I don't see them doing it. Baker is being good Baker right now. So I definitely see Atlanta doing it. Kamara is, he's out. So I don't see the Saints winning. Just following along, who's got the star power? Looking at everything right now. 49ers, everybody are on their dick. Jalen Hurts with the Eagles is in. Matt Stafford is always, Matt Stafford, Aaron Donald always a shoe-in. Baker Mayfield. The Lions are, who they are. The Cowboys are.
Vikings are just going backwards currently.
Yeah,
so,
pretty much.
I don't think they have a chance.
I mean, the Packers.
The team and quarterback I want to talk about possibly making the playoffs, it's Pittsburgh.
Well, I mean, Pittsburgh, again, we covered that in the AFC, where, basically right now, the Steelers need Buffalo or Jacksonville to lose, and they get in as the 7th seed.
So my bold prediction is that will happen because
Which way, Buffalo or Jacksonville? I mean, we already talked that, that Jacksonville would be the team to bump out.
I would say Jacksonville, just because I don't believe in the backup quarterback there. So, sorry, Jacksonville fans, but that's.
Oh, right now, I mean, the starter's still Lawrence. I mean, Lawrence isn't out right now though. But I understand if he gets injured, the backup's not really reliable. You're right on that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not looking good for Jacksonville currently though.
I mean, hey, it is what it is. So, as I said, it looks like if Jacksonville loses, then basically everything is going to be locked in tight in the AFC.
Crystal ball will become much clearer.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be no clouds in that crystal ball. The crystal ball clouds is a lot in the NFC. I mean, not just in the seating, but in the and just like I said, that 7 seed can be had by
So
a few teams.
it looks
That
like
need a
it's
lot of
going to be
help.
the Ingram. Looks like it's going to be the Ingram show. He needs 8 more receptions to tie for the most receptions in a year by a tight end.
Okay. That's a Tony Gonzalez record, isn't it?
No, it showed Ertz up there with 116.
Okay. All right. So, but yeah, basically, with that, basically talking about playoffs. This was going to be a quick show anyway, especially with games going on. Just wanted to add your guys' opinion on it. And also for those that are listening to us on the Spotify, basically what the Tuesday show is going to be on Twitch is we will go ahead and talk about the wild card in the playoffs. We'll actually go into the games a little bit more in depth than normal, than just a bold prediction. Because honestly, we're going to be talking about 6 games instead of 16. And to kind of fill the time, we definitely are going to go ahead and be like, okay, how did they get here? What is going to be one, the most intriguing of the 6 matchups, and then, basically roll from there as we go playoff game as we go 1 week closer to the Super Bowl.
Remember, this is wild card weekend, so anything's going to happen.
Yep,
Probably will.
absolutely. So, we're closer to the Super Bowl. We're closer to Daytona. With the lap down,
Yes,
guys. That basically that will be up on Wednesdays. With JP and the boys. Thank you, JP, for coming in. Thank you, Ben, always for being here. Co-hosting with me, and basically, I say for everyone, definitely go to Fanatics, get yourself some jerseys for the playoff team that you want. Show them.
Get yourself a old school Bill Belichick Patriots hoodie before he has his last send off.
You really think that's going to happen? I haven't heard that.
Yes, it is happening, and I'm wondering if they're going to have any kind of celebration for him after the game's over.
I don't know. They'll probably just run him out of New England. So, all right. But yes, on that note, everybody, us here at the Social Sports Ed Podcast, we'd like to wish you always a good night, good week, and for the most part, for all the parts, good season.
That's absolutely.
Yeah. Good season.
Everybody have a wonderful day.
Yeah. Everybody have a wonderful day.
Yep.